Good day everyone, this is Yuglo Fashion and you're welcome to my channel. So today we are learning this how to cut and sew this prom dress with Bustier. So if you gain anything from this video, please share and subscribe to my channel and please like my video as well. And if you have any question on this tutorial, please let's meet at the comment section. Length of my client is 60, but because it's a prom dress, I'm going to add like 3 inches to it so that when I put my petticoat on it to still be able to get to the floor. So now the half length is 16 and the circumference of the half length is 28. So that's what I need for this down part. So I'm going to say 63 minus 16. This is doll face material and this is the net I'm going to use on it and the lining. So I measured 63. I folded my fabric into 2. So I measured 63. That's the length of the gown. So this is 63. So after the 63, I'm going to cut the down part flay. So now I'm going to pick this joint part, this joint, then fold it. I'll come this way. Though the length of this my fabric is by 60, so it's very much easy for me to cut, unlike when you are using another fabric that is not up to that length. Okay, so now I said the half length is 16 and the gown length is 47, I mean 63. So what I will do is I'll minus 16 from 63. That's going to give me 47 inches. So I'll measure my 47 from here. So plus my folding, I'll add 1. Let me use half because I've already added 3 before. So that's 47.5. I'm going to weave the down part. So that's why I'm using the half. So I have from this peak now, I have 12.5. So I'll go around with the 12.5 to see whether it's aligned with my circumference, the waist circumference. So now let me get the circumference here. The total here is 10.75. So the 10.75 times 4, the fabric is on fold and it's folded into 4. 10.75 times 4 will give me like 42 point something, 42 plus. So, and the circumference of my client, the half length is 28. So because it's a prom dress, there's still going to be a bit of gather here. I'm still going to gather small inches on the half length. So I think this my 12.5 is okay. I'll be 10.5 rather. So now after here, I'm going to measure the down part as well. So I'll return my tape rule here. Then the total I have here, that's 60. So I'm going to go around with this 60, but ensure that your tape rule is not moving away from this peak. You can use your thumb pin to hold it down. 60. Then I'll cut it out. So for this net now, I'm going to cut 49 because I'm going to add 2 inches to it. When I cut the flay, it was 47 I cut. So I want this to be a bit longer than it. and I'm still going to sew this. I will use 1 inch to sew it, then use the remaining the remaining 1 inches will just be a bit longer than the flare. So now I'm not going to use this next side. So I want to measure 49. Though this organza net is 5 yards that I'm going to pleat on it, that I'm going to gather on it rather. So this is 45, so I'm going to cut 45 all through. 49 rather, 49 all through. The upper bodies of this prom dress, the bust, the shoulder from shoulder to nipple point of my client is 9.5. The shoulder to under bust is 13. Then the half length is 16. Circumference of the bust is 36.5. Circumference of the under bust is 31. Circumference of the half length is 28. So, and the nipple to nipple is 7. The shoulder is 16. So I'm starting with the shoulder. So I'll first measure the 16 inches. This is the edge, so I'm going to cut this off. So I'm going to start. The half length is 16 inches. And because it has like basque shape at the front, so now I'm going to make use of 18.5. But instead of using this 18.5, it is off shoulder. So I will minus 3 from it. So which means I'm going to use like 18.5 minus 3. This is the 3. And this is where the 18.5 ends. So let me first rule those ones out. So you understand. So for my nipple point, I'll just ensure that my tape rule, I'm measuring 3 outside the normal measurement. So I'll measure 3. Then the nipple point is 9.5. You can see where I start from. I'm not it's after the 3 inches I'm starting my tape rule from. So 9.5. Then the under bust is 13 inches. And the half length is 16 inches. So let me rule. Now after ruling everything out, I'll measure the circumference. Let me first measure the circumference of the shoulder. That's 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So for the bust is 36.5 divided by 4 will give 9 points. Let me just use 9.1. Then the under bust is 31 divided by 4 will give 7.75. The under bust, the half length is 28. 28 divided by 4 will give 7 inches. Then I'm going to add my seam allowance of 2 inches. So I'll connect the lines. After that, I'll come to this side and measure the nipple to nipple. The nipple to nipple is 7 inches. So the 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5. For here to 3.5, I'll measure the 3.5 till I get to the half length. So from that point, I'll measure another 2 inches here. 2 inches, and I'm stopping these 2 inches on the under bust. This one is getting to the nipple point, but this 2 inches extra I measured is stopping at the under bust. So from there, I'll come back to the nipple point. Then I'll come out. I'll measure additional ½ inch. You know, the circumference here is 3.5. Then I'm coming out with ½ inch again. So making 4 inches here. So I'll come to the shoulder. Then from this shoulder, you know, I said you are going to minus 3 up because it's off shoulder. So for the shoulder slope, I'm coming down with 7 inches. That's for the shoulder. So please, I have a video on how to cut this off shoulder in case you don't understand well here, because I'm not really going deep into it. So from there, I'll chalk out 4.5 inches. You know, I've I've subtracted 3 up, so this is 4.5. So I'm going to connect this this half to this 1.5. And these two here, the remaining inches here, I'm going to give it a curve shape, and it will come and link this shoulder here. So I'm coming out to 3 inches on the shoulder axis. I'll be on the arm rather. So here, I've removed 2 inches here, so I'm going to add it back to my measurement. So I'll cut it out. So I'm not making use of this particular side, the 2 inches and here. So they are the ones I'm going to cut out. After cutting, I will notch the under bust here, and this as well. I will notch the under bust of this too. So I said it has like basque shape. So it has basque shape. So this is the half length. I'll come down by ½ inch. That's for my stitches, ½ inch. Then I will slant it to the 18. Please ensure that your under bust align. So I've done that. I'll just cut it off. So this is for the front. For the neckline, I'm going to measure 3.5 here. I'll come down by, I've subtracted 3 inches. So I'm coming down with 3 inches, so making 6 inches. So I'll give it a curve shape. Okay. So this is how the neckline is. And the sleeve will join here. Back, is off shoulder, so I'm going to measure, the half length is 16 inches. So I'm going to minus 3 from the 16 inches. So that will give me 13 inches. So I'll measure 13 inches there plus my joining allowance, that's ½ inch. So making 13.5. So for my zipper allowance, I gave 2 inches for my zipper allowance. And after that, I'll come here and measure 3.5. That's for my nipple to nipple, but I will add half to it. That's 4 inches. Here I will measure the shoulder. The shoulder is 16. Divided by 2 will give me 8. But note that I'm not starting from, I started where I ended the zipper allowance. So that's 8 inches. Then I will still subtract my 3 and come down with 1.5, making 4.5, just the way I did for the front. For the front, I use 4.5 to connect to the ½ inch. So the same thing I'm going to apply here. So 4.5, I'm going to connect it to this. And after that, I will measure another 2.5 inches. I have a video on this, on how to cut off shoulder, like I said earlier. So now I'm measuring from this 4.5, I'm coming out with ½ inch again. So I'm going to connect the two together. Let this be a bit longer. Let it be a bit longer than this. So now I will now measure the circumference of my half length. The half length is 28. The 28 divided by 4 will give 7 inches. So it is this particular 7 inches I will rule. I'll just make a straight line. Then make armhole shape here. So that's all for the back. So after cutting, this is what I get. So I'll for the neckline, I'll measure, for the front, I said I'm coming in by 3 inches. I measured 3 inches. That'll be 3.5 rather. But it's because of the shape of the front. Since it's off shoulder, I don't really need to shape it like that. So the normal measurement should be either 5 or 4.5. So now I'm measuring my 4.5. Then the 3 inches I left for the off shoulder. So I'm coming down with 3.5, so making 6.5. I'm going to shape it this way. Then for the armhole, I left 3 for the shoulder. Then I'm using 7 inches for my armhole. So I'm going to measure 1 here. That's where the sleeve is going to be connected to. So that is it for the back side. So the next thing is to cut them on my lining. Then I will add paper stitch to everything. I've gone ahead to cut my fabric and iron it together, and I've joined it to my doll face. I added my paper stay on each of them. This for the front bodies. And the lining, I've joined the lining together. So now I'm making use of this breast cup. So first of all, let me join the front as well, the bustier. Let me join the bustier of the front dress. So to join this, I will ensure the under bust line. And I'll join them together. So for the breast cup, I'm going to attach it to the lining. So this is how I'm going to go about it. The where I notch for the under bust, I will get the midpoint of this breast cup, then I'll place it on it like this. So if I'm the joined breast cup will be, you can see how it's going to be on it after sewing. So that's why it's facing this side. So I'll stitch it. So I will do likewise for the other one. Stitch my bustier. I'm going to stitch the neck of both the lining and the facing. So I'm starting from here because of the shape of, because of how the style is. I'm starting from here. Now for the back side, I've sewn both my fabric and the net together, the lace. So now I'm going to stitch both sides together. Now I'm joining the two together. I'll turn it with my lining. I'll stitch the neck and ear. So now I want to join both front and back together. So I'm going to stitch my measurement out. I'm done stitching both front and back together. You can see. So the next thing to do now is to gather my, this is the play. Then I'm going to gather the organza neck or knit. So now after gathering this on the play, I joined it with the upper bodice of the prom dress. So now I'm going to fix in my lining as well. I'll sew it here. Now after joining the lining, I'll close the back side. I will lock it up.